After learning that spies exist and losing his family in an accident, he dedicates himself to becoming the strongest person he can be. A youngster named Tai is introduced in the novel as having recently lost his family in an accident with a truck gun. He was terrified after the incident because he realized how fleeting life is and that he can lose everyone he cares about at any point. While Matsumi, his childhood friend, laments the loss of his family, she reassures him that she won't abandon him. After a while, we see Tai in his classroom. His classmates come up to him and want to go out, but he declines. They get upset because this isn't the first time he has turned them down. They assume he must be shy and decide to back off after realizing he is scared and wondering why he doesn't want to spend time with them. But as it turns out, he's actually glad they came up to him. He just finds it difficult to communicate to others since he still grieves for his family. When they're gone, Matsumi comes up to him and feeds him, reminding him he should eat healthily. We find out that their peers are envious of them because they all think Matsumi is cute. Tai is beginning to exhibit antisocial behavior, and she starts to worry about him because he says he needs to talk to people. However, he tells her that she turned down their senior, Tanaka, even though she thought he was a wonderful man, and Tai wonders why she did so. She urges Tai to go on and converse to his classmates, telling him not to dwell about her. Just as she is going to feed him, Hirakawa, the vice principal, consumes it. When she gets furious and reminds him that he promised to quit snacking, he says that he was just unable to control himself. He says that he modified his schedule because he missed eating her cooking, even though she is aware that he is meant to be on a work trip. He tells Tai to meet him after class since he likes the color of her hair, but she instructs him to go back to his office. Tai believes Hirakawa is strange and questions whether he did something incorrectly. When Tai arrives at Hirakawa's office after class, he asks why he was called, to which Hirakawa replies that he has a collection of Matsumi's photos. He tells her that he has taken innumerable photos of her and that he has been keeping an eye on her from the shadows to keep her safe from her suitors. He is aware that Tanaka made the approach, and it is clear that Hirakawa tormented him before ordering him to avoid her. Hirakawa asks Tai whether he's beginning to feel something for her, and when Tai understands he's in danger due to his insanity, he threatens to murder him. Tai is startled and begins to fear for his life. But Hirakawa comforts him by pointing out that Matsumi is his sister and telling him not to take it personally. However, a girl shows from out of nowhere and she pushes a button to turn on the light, letting Tai escape. When he comes to, Matsumi welcomes him and expresses her relief that he is alive, but he becomes aware that he is surrounded by strangers. When he asks them who they are in a panic, Matsumi calms him down and introduces them as her siblings. She discloses that Futaba, the girl who saved him, has a brother named Shinzo who appears to be fascinated with guns. Her sister Shin claims to be tech-savvy, and she has another brother named Kengo who seems to enjoy cats. Their dog, Goliath, serves as their security dog, while her brother Nanao enjoys doing experiments. Tai is shocked to learn that Matsumi is a family of spies and questions if he is being set up. Thinking it was a toy, he takes one of Shinzo's firearms, but when he discharges it, he realizes it's real. They explain to him that working as freelancers and being spies is much like any other profession, but they seem to be having trouble because government spies are hiring them for less money. The family has the best online evaluation, according to Shinta, and Kengo says that their brother Kaiokairo is making them more popular since women adore him. When Tai notices that Kengo is referring to Hirakawa, Futaba clarifies that although he is a flawed guy, Hirakawa is the family's greatest spy. When Tai questions why he's being singled out, she says they have intelligence that someone is trying to kill Matsumi. According to Futaba, Matsumi nearly passed away as a result of Kaiokairo, and the stress of the event is what gave her white hair. Because he feels responsible for what transpired, he became fixated on her and determined to take all necessary precautions to keep her safe. Since Tai is her childhood buddy, he made an exception for her and got rid of everyone else in her immediate vicinity. However, Kaiwa made the decision to kill him after finding out about the intelligence. As Kaiwa enters the house, the alarm abruptly goes off, but Tai will be protected, the siblings swear. Shinzo admits that he set up traps throughout the house, but everyone is aware that Kaiwa's extraordinary abilities still put them at a disadvantage. Tai feels that he's making things difficult for them, but Futaba urges him not to worry about it because it's always a family matter. She tells him that their family has a law that forbids them from killing each other, and gives him advice to wed Mutsumi. She informs him about the cherry blossom ring that her family uses, and that when he gives his spouse half of it, marriage is considered to have officially begun. Consequently, if Mutsumi gives him the ring, Kaiwa cannot kill him. Futaba honors his family's wishes, but she doesn't want to marry him because he hasn't moved on from their passing. As they get ready to fight, they discover that Kaiwa has already entered the chamber and is claiming to have destroyed Shinzo's traps. When he disregards Futaba's warnings to back off, she unexpectedly smacks him into the ground, at which point everyone turns against him. However, he can protect himself, and he blows them away with his weapon. He demands that they give Tai up, threatening to burn the house if they refuse. Futaba charges in, attempting to get closer, but she is ultimately taken into custody. As Shin gets ready to battle, she orders the others to back off, but Kaiwa assures her that she will not be able to defeat him. She commands her drones to fire, but doesn't seem to care. We cut to Tai, who is worried about the others. Mutsumi reassures him that everyone will be alright because they aren't allowed to kill family members. She points out a hiding place and tells him to stay there, but she senses his concern and tells him she's not going anywhere. After defeating the drones, Kaiwa tells Tai to give him a hug when he sees Mutsumi with her. However, she assaults him out of the blue, so he restrains her with his wires. Acknowledging that he was impressed, he takes off the mask, realizing that Kengo was actually Mutsumi. He is aware that Mutsumi is posing as Tai, and we witness Tai observing them and understanding something is wrong with her. Telling him to leave Tai alone because he isn't trying to harm her, she takes off her disguise. He consents to this, but he also warns her that she must stay inside because it is unsafe outside. He explains that he's going to eliminate everything in her immediate vicinity so that no one can hurt her, and he even lets himself get stabbed while saying he's prepared to put his life in danger to keep her safe. Just when she is ready to accept his demand, Tai emerges out of nowhere and tells Kaiwa to let her free. However, he declines, stating Tai Mead should avoid their family. Upon realizing that Kaiwa shares his fear of losing valuables, he understands that they are similar. Nonetheless, Tai disagrees with his approach, as he is aware of Mutsumi's suffering as a result of him. Tai then advises her to wed him, telling her that he will be alright because she has pledged to never let him go. She throws him a ring, but before he can accept it, Kaiwa interrupts him and declares that he would never let Tai get married. But because he remembers how Mutsumi has always taken care of him, he doesn't give up and can handle it. That's why he doesn't want Kaiwa to give her any pain. When the siblings get there, Tai is wearing the ring and has vowed to keep Mutsumi safe. They congratulate him and encourage Kaiwa to train him so he can defend Mutsumi. Futaba thinks he's fantastic. When Tai awakens the following morning, he finds Kaiwa standing above him brandishing a knife. Kaiwa commends him for his quick reflexes as he barely avoids it. Tai believes that he is attempting to murder him once more, but Kaiwa clarifies that this is only a part of his training, adding that spies must remain vigilant even while they are asleep. Kaiwa abruptly grabs Tai with his wires and says, "It's time for some exercise." When we cut to Mutsumi making their lunches, she hears Tai yelling. When she goes to check on him, Kaiwa is there to help him stretch. Kaiwa chooses to stop when Mutsumi becomes irate. As the home explodes, he checks the time and understands they must flee. He quickly grabs Mutsumi, and they leap out the window. When Tai asks Kaiwa what's happening, he reveals that someone set up a bomb inside the house. They are seen in a car, and Shinzo reports to Kaio that Mutsumi was the intended victim because the bomb was in the kitchen. As Tai questions Kaio's motivation for wanting to kill her, he discloses that Mutsumi is the 10th head of the Yozakura family. Kaio continues by explaining that the Yozakura lineage dates back to the Edo period ninjas, and that all of their progeny possess superhuman skills. However, there is always one common person who is born at the top. They carry the superhuman gene, therefore their offspring will be able to have skills even though they are powerless themselves. In order for the family to be able to carry on their lineage, it is their responsibility to protect Mutsumi. Kaio observes that everyone merely wants to keep Mutsumi safe since they are her siblings, and they don't give a damn about the bloodline. According to Kaio, Mutsumi's current goal is to learn about the outside world, because she will eventually make her entrance in the underworld as the head of the Yozakura family. However, this offers their adversaries an opportunity to attack them. Tai panics when they hear a quick burst of gunfire from behind, but Kaio reassures him that the automobile is bulletproof. The automobile swerves out of the way as the soldiers open fire with larger firearms. When Kaio notices that the driver is Goliath, he tells him to drive more smoothly and expresses concern about spilling his tea. Tai finds this unbelievable. Goliath is able to avoid the men's rockets as they begin to shoot at them. After Kaio spills his tea, he leaves to handle the situation on his own. Using his wires, he easily blocks their gunshots and destroys both of the pursuing cars. When he returns to Tai and Mutsumi, he tells Tai that since he is now a member of their family, he must also look out for Mutsumi. He also plans to teach Tai all there is to know about being a spy. Giving him a gun, Kaio instructs him that his first task is to keep Mutsumi safe from the assassins for the entire day. When they get to school, Tai follows after Mutsumi and sweeps the entire room before she greets her friends. The other lads greet Tai, but they are horrified to see his face and wonder what's wrong with him, while the girls find him acting peculiar. When we return to the car, Tai is startled to see the pistol, but Kaio reassures him that even if he kills someone, they can still hide it. Tai is relieved to hear Mutsumi warn her brother to stop playing around, but she points out that guns aren't very useful because the real threats are poison and bombs. He is told to keep an eye out for Tamiya, a bomber who Kaio claims has excellent bombs and has even employed his services in the past. Tai questions Tamiya's motivation for betraying him, but Kaio points him that individuals in that profession frequently swap allegiance with ease. Tamiya's one shortcoming, according to Kaio, is that he is addicted to social media and even shares about how his work is going. They are informed by Kaio that he must save some captives and will not be joining them. Nonetheless, he cautions Tai not to let his guard down, citing Tamiya's tweet indicating that there will be 2 more explosions. Therefore, he has to keep Mutsumi safe until he returns at all means. Tai feels like following Mutsumi around the room because he doesn't know where the bombs are. He starts to freak out when Tamiya posts that the second bomb is set off, and he gets hit by a ball. While the other boys check on him, he sees someone through the window and runs to them. He gets to the hospital but stops at the door. The nurse comes up behind him and asks if he's okay. He quickly says he's sorry, but the woman smiles. Come back to the classroom. Tai checks his phone and sees that the last bomb has been set off while Mutsumi talks with the other girls. He thinks about how Mutsumi has learned to keep herself safe. For example, she never eats anything she's been given and always tries to avoid being alone. The boys tell him they're sorry for hitting him again and give him some candy. He eats it right away, and the boys are shocked that he took it. This makes him think of how scared he gets when they talk to him normally. They think about taking Tai to the hospital right away because he feels sick, but then they remember that the nurse isn't there today, and Tai passes out. When he wakes up, he sees Mutsumi, and she tells him that the hospital is closed. Tai doesn't know much about her, even though they've been friends since childhood, and he starts to question whether he was the right person for her. She is always there for him, even though she is in danger all the time. He thinks about how he chose to marry her without even thinking about how she felt. But all of a sudden she hits him and says she chose him and thanks him for marrying her. Tai is glad to hear this, but then he sees a bomb on the ceiling. The boys are interested in the sound and think it might be an experiment from the science club when the bomb goes off. We see Nanao and a woman admiring the explosion. It turns out that the lady is Kengo. Tai and Mutsumi are still alive, and Tai is confused about how Tamaya could have set off the bomb when they were in a different room. He does remember that the hospital was closed, so this was the next best place for someone to rest. By watching how he moves, he figures out that Mutsumi is being watched, and he finds the third bomb on his body. He figures out that Tamaya told everyone about his plans on purpose so that Tai would stay with Mutsumi and be the bomb that would kill her. As time runs out, Tai jumps out of the building to get away from Mutsumi. The door is locked, though. But Kairo catches him out of the blue, defuses the bomb, and tells Tai how proud he is that he completed his task. When Mutsumi asks him what he's going to do with the bomb, he tells her that he's going to give it back to its owner. Shinzo, Nanao, and Kengo all show up. Mutsumi learns that everyone was watching, but Kengo says they just wanted to see Tai on his first mission. Shinzo gives Tamaya to Kairo, who throws him out the window as his bomb goes off. Tamaya begs for forgiveness, but Kairo doesn't listen. When Tai shows up at their house, Kairo gets mad, but Mutsumi tells him that Tai's place was destroyed by the bomb and that they're married. He can't say no, so he tells Tai to keep an eye on him. We see Tai on the ground while Mutsumi is being held by a brute. She asks him to save her, but he can't do anything. He makes fun of him for being weak. He wakes up and realizes it was all a dream. He thinks about what happened recently and knows he needs to get stronger. He steps on Goliath by mistake, making him mad. Goliath then attacks Tai. He starts to scream, so Mutsumi goes to treat his wounds and tells Kairo that she told Goliath to watch over him so that Kairo would stay away from him. She tells Goliath not to hurt him and tells him that Goliath will never hurt the family head. But Tai is still scared of him. Soon after, he begs Futaba to train him, saying that he needs to get stronger to keep Mutsumi safe. But all of a sudden, Futaba throws him around and tells him not to hurry because it takes 3 years for even the best boxer to get better. She tells him he is not talented at all. He's going to protect Mutsumi no matter what, but she calls him a fool because she knows his feelings will get in the way of his goal. She tells him that he has to live in the house for a month before his real training starts and asks him if he wants to try their very strict training. He thanks her for the chance, but he sets off a trap and almost dies when she tells him that the house is full of them. She tells him that living there will be hard, but that it's part of his training and that he'll never reach his goal if he can't even get past them. He knows he might not make it and could die. The next morning, an alarm goes off, but Tai stays in bed. Suddenly, the alarm goes off. He tries hard to get out of his room, but sets off another trap that almost kills him. When Tai gets to the table, Futaba tells him that this is part of his training, but Mutsumi doesn't agree because he thinks it's too risky. Tai asks her how she stays alive in the house, so she tells her that the traps don't work for the family members. We find out that the house is run by a computer. Once he gets rid of all the traps, the computer will know him as a family member. He thinks it will take him 2 years to do this, though. As Nanao tells them that their food is poisoned so that they can build up a tolerance, he starts to feel strange. It's just enough to give him diarrhea, though. He needs to go to the bathroom right away, but he has to get past a locked door first. Futaba tells Mutsumi to let him handle it when she is about to help him. Kairo walks up to her and tells her she's beautiful, but no one pays attention to him. They choose to help Tai because they can hear him screaming. Everybody is having a good time because they can easily avoid the traps, but Tai is having a terrible time. His life turns into a living hell. We see Tai in class, but his friends are worried about him because they know he's being hurt badly. They leave him alone because he tells them he's fine. We find out that his family gave him a shirt that is way too heavy for him, which makes it hard for him to move. We see Tai training with a gun one night because he needs to hit the TV remote from far away to turn it on. But Mutsumi cuts him off and tells him to take a break. She gives him tea and tells him not to work too hard. She knows he's following this to keep her safe. She tells him he's not weak when he tries to say he's not. Back in the past, we learn that Tai and Mutsumi used to live next door to each other, but didn't talk much. She was picked on because of her hair in high school, and we see a group of girls threatening to cut it off. But Tai stops them and cuts his hair out of the blue. The girls are shocked and decide to leave because they think he's crazy. He tells Mutsumi that the guidance counselor told him to cut his hair and told her not to think about it. He also offers to help her if she ever gets into trouble. In the present, Mutsumi tells Tai that he has always been there for her, so he doesn't need to be so hard on himself. The alarm goes off the next day, but Tai stops it and walks right by the traps. Toshio is pleased that he can take a gun and press the power button. He tells Shinzo that he still can't change the station, so Shinzo helps him. Shin joins them and tells them she has data on Tai's work, which she gives to Shinzo. They help Tai, but he doesn't understand why Shinzo is always in a trash can. He tells Tai that she's not so different from him because he's shy. She tells Tai that he needs Nanao's help to handle the deadly gas, so he sets out to find him. Because Tai is making so much progress, Shinzo thinks he's smart, but she thinks there's another reason we're both right. We see Futaba and Kengo walking around the house. They see Nanao crawling with Tai and telling him that as long as he stays low, the poison gas can't hurt him. Futaba tells Kengo to stay focused on his job when he starts to talk over them. Tai escapes the traps and goes to the table with the others, where he can eat with them even though the food is poisonous. In order to explain that it's been 3 weeks since he moved into the house, Mutsumi says that he feels fine. He drinks the milk that Mutsumi gives him, but then he feels strange, so he runs to the bathroom quickly but still can't open the door. She starts to blame herself because she gave him the milk. Just as Kengo opens the door, they see him lying on the ground. Nanao checks on Tai and finds that he is tired and has a fever. All he needs to do is rest. He says he can stay alive for another week, but Futaba takes off his fake skin, and we can see how bad his health is. She fears he will die if he doesn't take a break. She knows that he's been working with her brothers to stay alive in the mansion, and that Kengo gave him the fake skin. She tells Nanao she's wrong for treating his wounds behind her back, but he tells her not to blame her. He tells her that her brothers tried to stop him, but he persuaded them to help him because he wants to protect Mutsumi. She hits him and tells him he's stupid for not taking care of himself because he can't reach his goal. She tells him that learning how to stay alive is also part of his training. Then she gives him a book on how to open locked doors and tells him to study it while he heals. Futaba leaves the room, but she tells him she was wrong about him because she now knows he has a lot of willpower and that his love for Mutsumi is what keeps him going. She now believes he will succeed. Tai finally opens the bathroom door after some time, which makes everyone happy. He thanks them for their help, and all of a sudden, Futaba tells him that the house knows him as a family member because his ring is glowing. She tells him he's doing a good job, but that his real training is about to start. Everyone is pulling for him and wants him to do well. When Mutsumi cooks for her family, she always adds a little poison. But Tai asks her about putting on a bra, which surprises her. He tries to tell her that he was just practicing his tricks, but she doesn't hear him. Kengo shows up and offers to teach him, but all he does is tease him. When Shinzo asks what they're doing, Tai rips off Kengo's mask. When Kairo comes in, he says he has to go on a job. He tries to kiss Mutsumi, but she hits him instead. We find out that Shinzo is also going on a mission. Tai worries about him, but he tells her it's a simple one where they need to get back the original plate for some fake money. Shinzo gives Tai something before he goes. Tai can't believe that mission is seen as easy. We see Tai and Mutsumi walking to school when all of a sudden a baseball is thrown at them. Tai catches it without even looking and throws it back very quickly. The coach asks him right away to join the team. During their lunch break, Mutsumi tells him to be careful not to show himself off because his training has made him more powerful. Mutsumi takes care of all the family's paperwork after school. Tai is amazed at how she does it all, but she says it's her job as the head, so she deals with it all the time. She suddenly realizes that something is missing, so she goes to see Kengo. In Mutsumi's words, "I forgot to attach the paperwork for his report." Tai is shocked at how messy his room is. Tai suggests looking for it around the room, but Kengo says there's no point since he didn't do it. In response, Tai says it does matter. Mutsumi tells him to cover up in front of her when he comes out naked, but Kengo reminds her that they used to take baths together when they were younger. Mutsumi plans to beat him, but Kengo runs right by them. He tries to get away when Tai tries to stop him, but Tai hesitates so he can get away. We see the house go into lockdown when Mutsumi turns on sleep mode. While this is going on, Shinzo is crawling through a vent while looking through X-ray glasses. He says that the security is tighter than he thought it would be, and we see the director walk into the building. He's glad things are going well, but it looks like someone else is in charge. 2 of the guards are killed, and Shinzo gets the original plate, but then the alarm goes off. Mutsumi and Tai are looking for Kengo. They check to see if he's hiding with one of the other kids, but no one has seen him. They go to Kairo's room, but find only pictures of Mutsumi there, so they leave. When their 3 other siblings show up, they don't know what they're doing and learn that Kengo was actually one of them. Before they can hear Kengo laugh, he shows up in a picture, and then quickly leaves. Tai goes after him, but Kengo gets away as they turn the corner. Tai shows Mutsumi a tunnel when she asks what happened. She is shocked that she didn't know about the secret tunnel, and she is mad that Kengo got away. When Mutsumi drops the lockdown, they go back to Kengo's room to finish the paperwork. But all of a sudden, Mutsumi puts Tai in handcuffs and calls him Kengo. He wants to know what's going on, so Mutsumi tells him that she knew his plan was to get her to turn off the lockdown. As well, she says that the real Tai always lets her go through the doors first. Kengo gives up and agrees to do his tasks. Tai is eating curry when all of a sudden they get a call. It was Shinzo, and he's crazy because there were more enemies than he thought there would be, and he's used up all his guns. We learn that even though he's good with guns, he's a big wimp when he runs out, so Mutsumi asks Tai to help. Our eyes catch him with a box. He sneaks into the building, but someone is there to stop him. He thinks of how he learned to fight with Shinzo, so he pushes back to stop the gun from firing and kills the man. There are 3 of them, Tai can tell, as more people come up behind them. 2 of them are killed, but the 3rd is getting ready to call for help. It turns out that Shinzo gave him a gun, so he uses it. It shoots electricity, which breaks the radio. When Tai gets to Shinzo, he hugs him right away and says he was scared. He plays with his new gun, and Tai thinks they should leave, but all of a sudden they are found. But Shinzo turns back into a Chad, and he disarms them right away. They quickly leave, and Shinzo has no trouble dealing with the guards. As they try to leave, a shooter fires and hits Tai in the leg. The man tells Shinzo to put down his gun because he is going to kill Tai. He fires his gun when he sees Tai bleeding. When we go back to Mimi, she tells Tai that he can use anything as a tool against Shinzo to make him feel safe. Then Tai throws him a fork out of the blue, which he uses to break the man's gun and kill him. They get away, and both of them say they're sorry for what happened. Even though he's out of shots, Tai doesn't think he's okay. He thinks he needs to get used to it to get stronger because as their big brother, he needs to protect them. The next night, we see Tai on the phone with Mutsumi. She wants to go on a date with him, but a strange man gets out of the car and tells Tai to hang up. The guy walks up to him and says his name is Seiji. He is a police officer, and he tells Tai that he has some questions for him. When they get to the station, Seiji tells them that he has a picture of Tai from his last job. This makes Tai nervous, and he asks Seiji how he found the picture. Seiji says he has videos of Tai from the recent events because he thinks Tai is to blame for everything. Seiji threatens to arrest him and calls him a criminal. But Seiji thinks he's working with a secret group and offers to help Tai get a lighter sentence if he tells everyone the truth. But Tai says he doesn't know anything and refuses. He knows that the water Seiji gives him has truth serum in it, so he doesn't want to drink it. We can see that Seiji caught it with a balloon, but he still acts like he doesn't know what's going on. When he looks around, he sees that there are dead people in the room, and Seiji is telling him that he just killed a drug dealer and isn't afraid to take the law into his own hands. He grabs Tai and threatens to kill him, but Tai sees a thread and figures out that Kaio is involved. He tells Seiji that he doesn't know anything. Seiji is about to hit him, but he avoids the blow, which breaks the wall. Kaio is watching and making fun of Seiji for how badly he is doing, so Tai asks him to explain. Kaio tells Seiji that he is his friend and that he has been hiding what the family has been doing in exchange for their help with his studies. When Kaio asks if Tai passed the test, he tells him that Tai didn't lie and that he's excited to work with Tai. Seiji tells Kaio that he has a big job for him, but Kaio knows it's time for his next task, so he leaves. When the next day comes around, Tai is tired from not getting enough sleep, and Matsumi is worried about him. Kaio walks into the classroom and says he's going to be the substitute teacher. He then begins to speak. Tai is about to fall asleep when he feels a chalk coming at him very quickly. He just barely avoids it. We can see that it made a hole in the wall, and Kaio talks to Tai through Morse code, telling him that he needs to learn how to control when he sleeps. Kaio talks about the dolphin and says that to get the rest it needs, it doesn't really sleep but just turns off part of its brain. He tells Tai that he needs to learn this skill, but Tai doesn't believe him because people need to sleep to stay alive. When Kaio tells Tai that he will throw another chalk if he sees Tai sleeping, Matsumi tells him to stop because she thinks that Kaio just wants to hurt Tai. She tells him to stop making Tai's life unhappy, but he tells her he can pass Kaio's test. He's thrilled that she's talking to him. Kaio shows them a pellet out of the blue and breaks it, releasing sleeping gas into the room. When Matsumi puts on her gas mask and sees that everyone has fallen asleep, she gets mad. When Kaio sees Tai sleeping, he throws several chalks at him, but Tai defends himself. Matsumi is shocked when he realizes Tai can move while he's asleep. Kaio starts to throw even more chalk when he learns he's only half awake. Tai is able to avoid all of them, which impresses Kaio, and he keeps throwing chalk until the class is over. But that night, we find out that Tai can't go back to being half awake, and everyone finds him creepy because they see him sleepwalking. The next day, Tai is reading a book on how to date like a spy. He is worried that he isn't spending enough time with Matsumi and that their marriage might end in divorce. He's about to ask her to go on a date when he gets a call from Seiji, who tells him he needs to get to work right away. Seiji tells Tai to catch a dangerous couple at an amusement park because they're making trouble with their guns. Seiji doesn't know what the couple looks like, so he tells Tai to watch out for strange behavior. He knows that he's drawing too much attention to himself because he's by himself and there are couples around him. But all of a sudden, Matsumi walks up to him and says she knows about his goal and will help him blend in. She warns him that there are strange people nearby, but she says she can protect herself, so he doesn't need to worry about her. He sees a cute pair and smiles as he compliments the girl's outfit. They look like they're having a great time. Tai tries to be like him by telling Matsumi that her outfit lets her do high kicks, but she just tells him that it's comfortable, and he learns that it's hard to keep her interested. They decide to follow a couple that seems sketchy as they get on a roller coaster. The ride is fun for everyone except Tai, who falls asleep because it's not as exciting as his training. Matsumi and Tai keep an eye on the couple after the ride and realize they're not as dangerous as they seem. When they see another couple, they think they might be up to no good, so Tai decides to follow them while they enjoy the ride. When they start kissing all of a sudden, he knows they're just a normal couple. Mutsumi sees another pair that seems fishy, and Tai decides to watch them while they drink coffee. Tai thinks the man has a gun because he hears him talking about something important in his pocket. But it turns out that he is just pulling out a ring to ask the woman to marry him. We see Tai holding a rose and thinking about how to make Mutsumi happy. He's upset that he doesn't have a lead. Someone is fighting with the sweet couple, which he finds hard to believe since they were so close on the rides. When they pull out their guns, all of a sudden, Tai knows they are his targets. As people start shooting at each other, Tai ducks for cover. When he finds out that someone shot his rose, he gets mad and shoots them with his electric guns. The cops show up and arrest them. Seiji thanks Tai for his help and tells him he did a good job. Kaiwakairo finds out about this and seems angry that Tai went on a date with Mutsumi. Tai and Mutsumi are seen riding the rotating Ferris wheel, and Mutsumi says that they got to enjoy all the rides. Tai asks her why she didn't want to ride the Ferris wheel until they were done with the other rides. She tells him that she wants to watch the sunset with him. He surprises her with a rose, telling her that it was hurt in the fight, but he still wants to thank her for everything she has done for him. They spend the rest of the day together after she agrees. When we get back to the house, Shin is worn out from finally finishing her task. She is about to go to sleep when all of a sudden, a strange girl breaks into her computer. She fights back against the hacker, and we see her figure chasing a hedgehog. The girl turns off her computer, which lets the hedgehog get away. We can see that she stole shots of Tai when she turns it back on. The next morning, Shin and Tai run into each other. When they ask her why she looks so tired, she brings up the hacker. He finds it odd that they only took shots of Tai, which makes him feel bad. As Tai and Mutsumi walk to school, they think about what the hacker was after. Suddenly, some needles stop them, and we see the unknown girl. Tai tries to run away, but they can't get away, so he gets ready to fight. The girl strikes him out of the blue, but he pushes her back. The girl tells him she loves him, and also that she wants to kill him. Ayaka, the manhunter spy, is who she looks like to Mutsumi. However, Ayaka doesn't like the nickname, but Mutsumi tells her that she follows guys she likes and stabs them with her needles as a spy. Ayaka says she fell in love with him after seeing a video of him on the dark web. However, this made someone put a price on his head. When she throws her needles up all of a sudden, we see that other people are after Tai for the reward. Ayaka loses it because she wants Tai all to herself. Tai says that he can't let himself be killed because he is married to Mutsumi. When Ayaka hears this, she starts to cry and wishes she could kill Mutsumi right away. But she tells him that Kaiwakairo gave her permission to go after Tai as long as she doesn't touch Mutsumi. The two of them can't believe Kaiwakairo would let this happen. Ayaka throws needles at them out of the blue, but she tells them she'll see them soon. As soon as she leaves, they get to school and meet Ayaka, who is a new transfer student. She is given the seat next to Tai. On her way to her seat, she trips and throws a needle at him, but he blocks it. We see Tai going about his normal day while he avoids Ayaka's efforts to kill him. He eats lunch with Mutsumi and only avoids Ayaka's attacks the whole time. As Ayaka's anxiety grows, she pulls out her needles and injects everyone in the class with a mind-controlling drug. She then tells them all about it. They all grab him and hold him down after she tells them to. Mutsumi stops her and tells her she's gone too far as she is about to kill him. The earlier bounty hunter shows up right then and wants to get even with Ayaka. He shoots her, but Mutsumi pushes her out of the way and Tai fires his gun at the man. Ayaka asks him why she saved Mutsumi when he checks on her. She's glad that someone else can see how great Tai is, says Mutsumi. Ian feels like she's an angel and falls in love with her. We see Ayaka holding on to Mutsumi as they walk home. She now wants to kill Tai so she can have Mutsumi all to herself. This makes Tai unhappy, but all of a sudden, Shin calls him. When they get to her room, Matsumi tells them that Shin is always looking for someone to play games with. Shin starts the game and tells Tai that all they have to do is beat the monsters that show up. As they begin to play, Shin says that it's time for the boss. Tai is shocked at how quickly it has come. They fight a monster that looks like a train. Tai hits his controller hard and they beat the boss. In that very moment, there is a story on the news about a train that got away and then stopped all of a sudden. Shin says that she breaks into her target's computers and turns them into games that she has to beat in order to do her job. She says that she can't always do it by herself, and then shows a plane that's about to crash into a power plant. We can see that they have to beat a dragon before they can play the next game. Shin gives him an item that will bring him back to life just in case, and then she starts fighting Kairo monsters. Tai tries to fight them, but he turns on God mode somehow, and Shin scolds him for cheating. Though the dragon is getting closer, Shin uses a combo to hit it and kill it, dodging its breath. Tai is impressed, but the game isn't over yet. Suddenly, a huge number of dragons show up, and we see that they are actually a swarm of drones. It seems like the end for them, but Tai has an idea. He brings the dragon back to life with the regeneration item, and then they start killing the drones. We see the helicopter shoot them down, and Shin is amazed that it works. However, some of the drones get through. But all of a sudden, Ayaka shows up and takes them outside to take shots of Matsumi. Tai and Shin finally finish off the last of the drones, which means the job is over. Shin tells him how great his plan is, but he won't let him leave until they play more games. But that's the end of this movie. Don't forget to join the channel and like it. Enjoy your time, and I'll see you soon.